Billy.
Hi.
And Vanessa. There you go.
We are ready
So I'm gonna.
to learn all the things.
Well, that's good. So I'm gonna make you the presenter. All right.
Sounds
So
good.
that, and then so that you can do the work, and we'll just kind of steer you.
Do you want me to write give control?
Yes, please. Just in case we need to take the mouse to help you out.
No problem. Did I give you access?
Yeah, I think you did.
Fabulous.
So now you just need to go into, yeah, there we go.
I forgot what my username is. Haley and Beauty. I'm here.
Perfect. So where do you want to start? Do we want to make customers or suppliers or?
See, I don't really know. Like, we don't really have suppliers. Like, I don't really like. Who's gonna be your supplier for us? Let's start with customers. Where do I?
If you click on orders
Yeah.
at the top,
This?
and then do customers, yeah.
I kind of already put one in there.
Yeah. This looks good. So if you want to add a new one, you just click the Add New button.
Okay. Who's next should we do? So the customer ID and the name can be the same?
Correct.
Yeah, if you'd like them to be the same, you can do that.
What's the difference, Zach? I mean, what's the point of the two?
The name field allows you to type out like a full name. So for example, if it's really long, like our company name, Computerized Inventory System Specialist, you can write that out in the name field, but you can put a shortened identifier in the customer ID field.
Yeah, or a numeric, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay, so do you want to do LTC and then the name, the little finesse? Is that how you want for little potato? Or would you rather both be the little potato?
No, I think that's
LTC?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That looks good, yeah.
Primary contact. Tony?
Yeah, we can copy, right, from this one?
I think so. That's really good chocolate sauce. Okay.
I made that one.
So, really? It's really good enough. Okay, so I'm sure you can see what I'm doing right now.
Yeah, you basically can cut and paste from the two.
Really? So I can do that? Fabulous. That's awesome. Okay, so I'm going to go to the Little Potato Company.
Oh, wow. You have no way to index in there, huh? You just have to kind of find it.
22 pages.
Oy.
It's going to be so much fun. Okay.
So eventually you learn what page they're on, probably, huh?
Okay, so contact, we don't
Can we add more than one contact? We have to. They need access to our website anyway.
They said that's possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
I guess Tony. What's his name? I guess, or should Tony be that person, or do you want to do Rachel? Or
I think they all are using Sense,
who?
that, password, because that's the guy that came here.
Seth?
Yeah.
So, Seth?
No, that's not there.
Okay, well, I don't really care about the primary contact.
That's not their phone number anymore.
No, I know, they changed that. That's great. If I have to do this for every person, I'm going to go crazy. What a blocker. You haven't received an email from Tony in years. I will.
Okay, do Rachel. We have most of that.
Yeah. Okay. So, Rachel. Where are you at? Rachel Brown. I need a real Rachel. There we go. Okay. So. Alright, contact title.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Okay. That's the one, you think?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's the fact.
Maybe we can edit that later, but if they can show us
Yeah,
how
we can
to
edit
use,
it.
how to add products to their inventory, how to,
Okay,
no?
so, yeah,
if we have lot numbers, for example.
yeah. Then okay, tell them.
Is it possible that you can show us how to add products to these customers? Their own product, like what we storage here for them? How can we add that to their inventory?
I thought what we were going to do was basically assign customers to the coolers and use the coolers as the virtual warehouse.
That won't work though, because
yeah,
the cooler, we change cooler temperatures. Product isn't always in the same cooler. Like, for potatoes, they could be in 8, 14, 19, like, but then sometimes won't be in 19, there'll be apples in 19, like, you can't, I don't think it'll work like that.
Okay. Zach, do you remember how we were going to set this up, or should I just call Benson?
I forget exactly how we were going to set it up, but I do believe we were going to enter some products into the system.
Yeah, hold on. Let me call Benson.
Maddie, I didn't say they were gonna like do things like add inventory to the customers. Didn't they say it was gonna be like a warehouse, like a virtual warehouse for each customer when they have access to that warehouse? So we can set up coolers for them, but it's part of that warehouse, like a company. For our customers. Just he wants to do it by coolers, but Haley just explained it to them that, yeah, that we have different products. We told them that too. Do you remember how did they say they were going to do it? Yeah, I think he said that it was going to be like a virtual warehouse for each customer, and then we can add coolers to them, right? As I understood.
I don't understand how that's going to work.
We can, like, we're going to have to do that later, right? Like, edit, but what I would like you to show us is how to create those virtual warehouse where we can add more contacts that they can have access to.
Mhm.
And I remember he showed something about the lot numbers. You can tell us how to create lot numbers, and we can start doing from there.
One papaya.
We're gonna need a reference number.
Why?
And it's gonna give us a number, or what's gonna
So like we're gonna use our lot numbers and be like the reference numbers for lot.
So what if you want to use papaya for somebody else? You're just adding those to one cooler?
Yeah. Yeah. Reference number 27241. Where would we put their papaya? Or where would we put their PO? Do it like that.
For about size.
Right. I mean, maybe if we could take out unit costs and put unit size.
Yeah, because we don't use expiration date.
If we could see if it can be changed. I can't type in here. I can only type in here. I can change like how it's plot.
Yeah, she said we can change all of this.
Haley.
Yes.
Okay, I think we just talked to Benson, and the way it's going to work is each customer is going to be assigned a virtual warehouse, and we can name the virtual warehouse the customer name or whatever you want to call it.
Okay.
And then once you have the virtual warehouses, we can assign items to that specific warehouse, and then you can have all the different coolers in each warehouse. Okay.
Okay.
So Zach, can you get control? Can you move her mouse?
No, it's not letting me.
Haley, can you give Zach control? Can you give him? You should be able to.
It's not letting me request it either.
Really? Maybe I can give it to you.
I just did something.
Okay.
Try now.
No, it's still not letting me.
Shoot.
I think it's working.
Yeah, there you go.
Brian, thank you so much.
Yeah, so it looks like Benson did import all the coolers as warehouses. Looks like we'll need to re-import that and change that over.
Ryan chases. Yeah. Chipotle. I'm okay. Thank you. Vanessa made it. It's like hot sauce. Oh wait, you won't like it. Oh, I can't.
Yeah. We can just rename them, right? I mean, or delete them and make new ones or whatever.
Yeah, it's just I'm not sure what he was trying to do here, because it looks like we have all the different locations in each different warehouse. So,
well, yeah, but that makes sense. I mean, each warehouse should have all of those coolers in it.
no, but each cooler only has like the one location in it. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Yeah, that's not really right. Basically, we want to have each warehouse with all of those different coolers in it.
Exactly. But the problem with doing one for each customer is
have products from different companies in the same cooler. Are they gonna be able to see what other people have?
No, they won't. They'll only see their own product.
Only their own product, right? Okay.
Can we change it, quick sec?
The problem with that is the problem I'm trying to figure out here is how many customers do you guys have?
Oh, potentially hundreds.
That's not going to work. Setting it up this way. Well, hundreds
the
of
way
customers. You know, hundreds of different warehouses for hundreds of different customers. That's going to be a mess.
Why?
They already figured this out.
Because each customer would have their own warehouse and 20 some odd locations for all the different coolers. So you'd have, 100 coolers. That would be 2,200 warehouses. 2,200 locations. It would just be a mess to find things and move things, in my opinion.
I mean, if they set themselves up as that customer for that warehouse, then all they're seeing is that stuff.
One of the things we had talked about a long time ago was to essentially have, let's call it 20 warehouses, if those are their coolers, and then they could move product in and out by customer, where the customers could not obviously see another customer's inventory in that warehouse.
And that would work if each cooler is assigned to one customer. That's just what I'm trying to figure out here. Is that how it's intended to work? Is each cooler is assigned to one customer at a time, or?
No, Zach. Each warehouse is a customer, but each warehouse has access to all of those 22 coolers.
No, they're just to figure it out with it.
But the way this is set up is as he just described, where each cooler is its own virtual warehouse. It's not set up the way you're describing, Ben. It's set up the way he's describing there. So I'm just trying to figure out how we're supposed to how this is intended to be used. That way, I don't go and change everything that Benson's already imported here.
Haley or Vanessa, do you guys, let's say Little Potato is a customer.
Yeah.
Do you put their product in multiple warehouses wherever there's free space, or do you generally put it in the same warehouse all the time, or in the same cooler all the time?
You put it in multiple coolers.
Right.
wherever there's space, basically. Is that
Right.
correct?
Right.
And the fact that we can change the cooler's temperature, like any product can go anywhere.
Right.
It's not,
Right.
we do our coolers based on space, not based on product.
Okay.
There's a few people on the line.
Only one name.
Ben?
Ben?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is Marty. Can we not track by lot numbers as we receive to that customer?
Yeah, you can track by lot numbers.
I think we would prefer that over what we're trying to accomplish here.
Well, no, we need to have so the customers can log in and see their inventory, but only their inventory, which really has nothing to do with lot numbers.
Well, that lot number would be assigned to that specific customer and that specific load, no?
Correct, but are lot numbers always unique?
Yeah, if it's one pallet or 30 pallets, it's for that one shipment for that one customer. So yes, we would never duplicate a lot number.
So you guys generate the lot numbers?
Yes. We do at this time. Our initial meeting with you, we were told that you'd be able to generate lot numbers for us.
Yeah,
we have an auto generation.
Assign lot numbers? Perfect. So the system can assign lot numbers for them and say your next available lot number or your next usable one is X, right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Correct. So the only problem that we're having here is essentially how do we allow customers to log into the system and only see their inventory? The problem that I'm seeing is if we have hundreds of customers and have a distinct warehouse for each customer, that's going to be a mess to manage. And to create 22 new cooler locations in each warehouse consistently. The alternative might be to add just an option, when you import the stock, when you receive the stock into the system, to select which customer it's for at that time, instead of creating a distinct virtual warehouse for each customer.
Is it there already, Zach?
No, but we can add a select box to the receiving grid to track that information.
This is the problem with that. Too many cooks in the kitchen. You're changing what Benson's already got going here.
Well, but Benson's got something entirely different going. He's got each cooler is its own warehouse. So I don't know what's going on specifically. Can we get him on the call to see what's going on here?
Yeah, hold on.
Thank you.
Is that you, Steve?
Cheaper to the office. Cheaper to the office, please. Thank you. Bueno, ¿qué onda? ¿Qué onda? Sí, nos están enseñando lo del nuevo sistema. Eso es necesario. No, no le explican. Es que como que ya se secó, yo creo que tengo que comprarle. Qué bueno. Qué bueno. Dale a cambiar la comida.
Jason, I Smart, give me a call, please.
Ven por mí a las 5. Sí, qué bueno. Vale a cambiar la comida. No compres. Me gusta mucho. No, pero más una, la otra la cámbiala. Ahí está en la bolsa. Ahí le puse. Las del gato sí le gustaron, las del no, déjalo. De hecho, a la Catalina le dije eso en la mañana. Sí, le encantó. Compra de la misma marca para ella. Pero no compres muchas, pero a ver si le gusta. Sí, vamos a tener que regresar. ¿Me compras el bien?
Hold on, guys. We're still trying to get ourselves grounded here. Exactly. Which Benson and Zach are talking.
Was that how you feel?
Yeah. Yeah.
Why?
Because it's so windy. In the morning, like when we're proud of it. Now you want to work with me. I can't even work. She said she was going to try, but I don't think she can work this week. The place is closed.
What's closed?
The work side.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Because it's for the holidays, right? Because they told me to go to Vanessa. Your daughter has too much energy. She's biting me everywhere.
Your daughter?
Running all over the time. They sleep all day. Like they play for an hour, they run all over the apartment, then they go to sleep for 2 hours. Because we are never there, we don't really know, right?
Right.
These days are we in there? Yeah, it's sleeping.
So,
They take a
you're
nap
not
and
sleeping
then
right
they
now?
come back. No, they're running. No? Mm.
Is that your cat?
I don't know.
That's that's so funny.
Okay, so I just got off the phone with Benson. Can you confirm how many customers you have?
Like 200?
Okay, yeah, then we're gonna have to go with a different plan here. If it was only, 20, 30 customers, we could set up a virtual warehouse for each customer, like we were talking about earlier. But with 200 or so, that's gonna be very messy. So for now, we're just gonna walk you through the basic procedures here, and later on today we'll discuss how to get that customer filtering set up, and we'll get back to you on that. It's going to work a little differently than our standard system. We might have to make some changes. Like I said, it's something we'll have to discuss in a little bit more detail. But for now, we'll just show you how to use the system, use the basic function of the system and how it works. So I believe we set up a few customers earlier.
If you said that, like, if you said that you might have to change your system for, like, what we need, will it change this whole learning procedure?
Not much. I'll point it out. I'll point out where it's going to be different. The problem is one of the features that was requested and discussed previously was that the ability for your customers to log in and view their inventory. So in order to support that, without having 300 virtual warehouses, we might need to do some changes or some alterations. So that's something we'll have to discuss later on today. We just talked about it quick on the phone.
Yeah, I'm on the line now. Okay, so this is Ben Walker. Sorry for the confusion, but how many customers are we dealing with here?
Over 200.
Over 200. Okay, yeah. I think it's not a lot of work. I mean, basically the way the system works with suppliers is suppliers can filter inventory based upon what they provide at warehouse. So we would just have to clone that code and basically put a customer filter in it as well. And that way, when they log in, they'll see their stock, in whatever cooler it is based upon their login ID.
Yeah, that's like how our system works now.
Yeah. Can you get me a customer list? We talked about this on Friday.
Totally. I can totally give you a customer list with their information and their contact info, totally.
Okay. So basically, it would wind up, if we do this, if we set it up this way, it would wind up with one warehouse and then the 22 coolers in the warehouse, and then the stock filtered by the customer record.
Sorry, I don't understand. Can you repeat that?
Yeah, you wouldn't need a separate warehouse for each customer.
Okay.
Because that's gonna become a hardship for you if you're trying to manage 200 different warehouses. Stock's going to be everywhere. So what we can do is we can consolidate all the coolers into one warehouse and then make the inventory filter by customer. So when you receive, you'll have a pull down that you can specify who the customer is on the receiving.
That's what we do now.
And is there any way that we can walk them through that, even if it's, let's say, on a test scenario, just so they can understand what that extra step
Yeah,
means
well,
for them?
I can do that, Andre, but I can do that, but I have to modify this grid. See this grid that Zach brought up in front of you? We modified it for the pallet and the expiration date. So all we need to do is add a code here for customer.
So essentially a pull down just like this location select box where you can select the customer and search the customer.
Even everything that we use for receiving products and customer and
Tell them
everything.
that. Vanessa gave you guys a list of everything we would need on for the receiving. And we would need to see that, like sizes,
brands, variety, products.
Well, I believe we were going to set that up on the item record, not when you receive the stock, but have like item definition set up for papayas from each brand or papayas in various sizes. We can add an extra field for size on the screen here if that's needed. But as far as the papayas or the different fruits and vegetables from each brand, I would set those up as different item IDs just to keep things a little simpler.
Okay, so the item IDs won't have lot?
No, when you receive with a lot number.
The item IDs are just definitions of your standard parts and your standard inventory.
Right.
So you can set up a part record for
for me so I can see something like visually.
So right now, Haley, I think they're talking more about architecture, just so that they can customize this in the way that you need to process it, and they're going through the logistics of that. Your steps don't really change much, but the fields that they enable in the software for you to be able to either add these details or see details, just like what Vanessa was asking, I don't think changed.
Okay.
So here's the item master screen. So here is where I would suggest you set up as far as different fruits and different brands, because then you can easily just click and reuse these same items in the future, and you can also track by different brand and different fruit and such as well in your reporting and in your tools.
But the brands change constantly. Like, we don't always receive the same brand of papaya or oranges or limes.
Well, you need to tell us what attributes set the different brands apart.
If we need to add more.
Like,
Because we are adding, we add that information all the time. Remember from the list that I gave you, and I actually sent you the paperwork, Andre, how the guys receive it, and they write for us all the information. So every time we receive a truck, brands can be different sizes. So we add that in our website now manually. So we can use them again if we need to, but just to make sure that the information we have in our system is the same that we have.
Ben, do you have that list? Because that was the first one of the lists Vanessa sent. That was one of our conference calls, going through how their software is set up, the kind of report they see, etc.
I might have.
That's what Vanessa is trying to ask. That information is what's contained, because the guys have to write on the report their findings on that information.
You don't have a lot number from ours?
Let's see.
The same brand, same everything, right? Okay.
Is that the receiving list you sent?
For either or
Yes.
for just one?
he asked if it was a receiving list.
I don't know, other than either they missed the lot number or it fell off the sticker.
Well, the receiving list is, I mean, what values on the receiving list do you need to track with inventory? Think of it that way. I mean, when you receive inventory into the system, you don't need to record that as a shifted pallet, right? I mean, I'm looking at this receiving list. This is, some of this stuff would be contained on inventory, like the pallet number and things like that, but I'm sure there's stuff on here that doesn't need to be recorded when you record inventory.
It does.
Oh, I see it. At the bottom, though, you have lot number, skid times boxes, category, size, variety, product, brand, and boxes.
Yes.
Well, let me ask you this then. Those are the things that need to be recorded when you bring in the inventory, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm just trying to, this list is comprehensive. There's a lot more on it than just those columns. But these are the columns that you want to record in inventory.
Right.
Okay. Now, are these things that you need to be able to put in free form, or are they lists that we can put in the background and pull from on the parts? So, in other words, I mean, how many different sizes are there, and how many different varieties, and do they change from product to product?
We are
Yes.
adding all the time.
Okay. So can they be supported by a list in the system or a table in the system, or do you need to have the ability just to type them in, because there are so many different values that could go into this?
So if you took papayas for an example, Haley and Vanessa, would there be unlimited sizes and types of papayas? Or would there be certain types and sizes of papayas that you're buying from wherever?
Yeah, like papayas, say you can go from a size, size 6?
All types of
Yeah, size 6 to like a
So we have to
16.
be able to change to add more in time, right?
Yeah, but we need to be
But
able to change and add more if we need to.
But say hypothetically, from what you just said now, that's only 10 variables of size, right? So what they're saying to help structure this in your table, let's say hypothetically you had 20 variables of size for papaya. So in the database would be 20 variables of size for papaya that allowed you to always essentially track what's going on with the papayas, as opposed to always free-forming it, because maybe you put 10 and somebody else puts 9.5 and 9.5 is not a value. You know what I mean? So that's what they're trying to do, is help evolve you forward as well. Because right now you're all free-form in where you guys are, because your database doesn't allow you guys to keep all this, the current one you use. And so if you look at papaya as an example, as a product code, and it's got 20 variables, 20 would probably be the max number you'll ever see, irrespective of who you buy the papayas from. Would that be correct?
I don't really understand.
So right now, your papayas, let's say as an example, they come in sizes. You shared those sizes are from 6 to 16 as an example.
Yeah.
So 6 to 16 is 10, right? 16 minus 6 is 10. That means there's 10 size possibilities for a papaya.
Okay.
Instead of always writing what it happens to be, is kind of what they're saying. When you receive it in inventory, you would just go down to a pull-down list and select size 8, if that's what the receiving happens to be, or size 7, or size whatever, meaning that it's always in your database with set amounts of variables, which allows you to start to use the database for some more logistics and reporting than always free-forming.
Yeah, that would work, but we would need to be always able to add sizes to that list of, like, let's say
which you could always do. You
Right.
could always add to what's in the list. It's just that you may not do that adding at the receiving. You'd go into the product code for papaya, and you'd add size 17 as an example.
Yeah. That's
Well, we could even just make it a numeric pull down. I guess the real question is size a constant field among all the different categories of product they're bringing into the system?
Yes.
That is correct.
So, I mean, that's just a numeric field. Now, you also have cat. Is that category, or what does that represent?
Category.
Category. Okay, so we do have a list of categories. That's covered. What does variety represent?
Like the variety of mango. Is it a Kent? Is it a Tommy? Is it an Altufo? Is it? And for beer, the variety.
How many variety possibilities of a mango, as an example, could there be? 20, 30, 40? 4. So that's a good drop down to try to make the whole process easier and consistent.
Yeah. But like for beer, for the varieties of beer that we have here, there's like
Can be like every time
50.
we receive a drug type of beer. So it's like those. For these, we have to be able to change it all the time to add new.
Okay. So you can always add to your product listing and your inventory listing. You're not restricted by that in the database. We're just trying to create some processes that standardize for you.
Okay.
So what I'm hearing is category is common across all different product brands. Size is common across all different product brands.
variety will change based upon a product brand.
Yes, size, yeah, but like for the sizes for like papaya are, let's say, 6 to 16, but then a size for beer, we would use the can size, so it would be 24 by 475 ml. Not just 1 to 100, 250 or whatever.
Do you need to track it by the can size, or do you track it by the cases? I thought everything was done by the case.
I track it by...
What he's trying to say is, can that piece of information be stored on the actual part definition? So can you track the unit of measure as, you know, whatever the can size is or whatever the bottle size is?
I don't know how to answer that.
Okay, well, let me jump over to the parts list, and I can kind of show you what I'm talking about here. So when you set up a product in the system, so for example, if we set up beer in the system.
Yeah.
On this screen, we can specify a default category for this. Now again, categories are user manageable lists, so you can add your own categories and such. And down below, whenever my mouse stops lagging, okay, there we go. Down below here, you can set up a unit of measure. So if you're using a constant unit of measure, such as, you know, 300 milliliter cans or, you know, 12-ounce bottles or whatever, you can specify that here as the unit of measure for that particular, you know, for beer in general. Now, that does vary. So if you have a lot of different types of unit of measure, maybe you set up beer, you know, 12 ounce. You set up a few different part definitions. That way you can easily just select this part definition and track, you know, the different types of beer or the different types of stock. So there's different ways in our system to do this. This is the easiest way to track that beer record instead of, you know, at the time of receipt tracking it. Just have a standard record that tracks those attributes.
Did you go to sleep with your makeup on? Put it on this morning.
I think we're going to have to crawl before we can walk here, be honest with you. I think we need to set up the warehouse, the coolers, pick one customer, get us their products, and let's, you know, go through a scenario with one customer, you know, with their sets of products to make sure we get this set up correctly.
Okay.
I don't think we can. I don't think this can be an all or nothing thing. I think we're going to have to start very slow, get the warehouse and the coolers corrected, get your customer list in, pick a customer, get our product list for that customer, and then once we see the data, it's going to help us visualize what we need to do. We haven't seen any data yet, and it's tough, you know, when you're saying that it's all going to change based on, you know, brand and product and what it is you're bringing into the system.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, does that sound like a plan?
I think the thing that will help is to create some organizational field for you guys.
Yeah.
Haley and Vanessa, I think that will help a lot because it's going to help you visualize your product that you do receive and ship and give some parameters to those products that Ben and his team can now start to have the software fit.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be there very shortly, girls, and I'll go over some of that with you. I understand exactly what they're asking you for. I think part of the issue has been because your existing system has never asked you for any of that. It just asks for information on the fly all the time and never actually has to historically look at any of them. whereas a proper inventory system is always going to ask for some kind of parameters around what it is you receive, right? But it's not a stretch. You guys are pretty close. I think you're at a better point of understanding of the capabilities, some of them anyway, of the CIIS, and Ben and them are getting a better understanding of what it is you've got to deal with. But definitely some organization around the product is going to help them create a framework for you to start to use it a little easier.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Andre, but I have to step out real quick. I'll be right back.
No problem.
But just to make sure, we are going to be, like, you will be able to have every incoming product assigned a lot number, right?
Yeah, the lot number is already a known and a guarantee, and the database can do that irrespective of the other fields of organization that we've been talking about. That's pretty simple. That it's been able to do from day one. So you'll always have the lot number. You're not going to lose the lot number. You're still going to use the lot number. And the system's going to help you because it will start generating the lot numbers for you, which allows that there can never, ever be an error of a duplication by doing it manually, right? It's the other fields for the product that are being both received and ultimately then removed from the warehouse, and also so that customers, when they're looking at it, will be able to see what inventory is still existing of theirs inside your facility.
Right.
So, I mean, I think that today we've been able to answer something that was, I'll call it a bit misunderstood, perhaps, and important that it was, because if it got too complicated for you because of the sheer quantity of variables, it would start to get a bit messy and difficult. So your customers, by their login, which is great, sounds like they'll be able to see what is theirs and theirs only. We just have to help you guys now see how to organize what it is that are the variables for things, and he will be passed that on to Ben and his team so that they in turn can start to help shape the software for you to use. Would you agree with that at all, Zach?
Yeah.
Zach, are you there, or Ben? All right. I think they'll be back in a moment here, but
Okay.
Zach or Ben, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry,
Okay.
When other people are talking, I mute it so the speaker doesn't feedback.
Okay, so that summary I just went through, Zach, is that something you would agree with?
Yeah, I mean, overall, I think, we definitely need to go back and, take another look at this, take another pass at this, because your current inventory system is very different than our standard model. So we need to kind of bring you to something in between the two. So we'll have to take another look at this, and when you guys send over your imports and, some of your information, we can get a better idea and start moving this along a little bit better. Yeah.
And one of the challenges, they don't have the ability to send you an export that you can import.
Yeah, I do
don't
remember that.
ability in the existing software. So essentially, we'd have to start creating some like frameworks, and we'll call them almost like products. So, like, we can create a very simple worksheet almost for them to say, okay, this is potatoes, and here are the following variables of potato information. Here's papayas as an example, just for you guys to start to create the structure model. Later on, they can populate their own field.
That's the big problem, because normally what we'll do is all those attributes would be tracked on an item record, an item master record. So that's the big difference from our standard, and that's what's kind of making this a little outside of the standard box and the standard model, because normally you might have 2,000, 3,000 different part definitions, and then when you go to receive stock, you'll just pick the correct one. But the problem here that we're seeing is there's just so many variables that's just not going to be entirely possible, for all this. So.
Well, they should be able to, based on, again, the example of papaya, no different than a typical standard part that might have colors, right? So they should be able to create that, and if anything falls outside of that, then they can go and add, call it the papaya part record, add another variable. But I think that you can accomplish what it is you've talked about, which we understand is in practically every inventory software out there. We just have to help them get to that point by helping them rethink a little bit about their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And if anything, it's going to make their go forward significantly simpler than what it is now, and it's going to allow them to avoid some of the mistakes that happen inside their own current software, which is one of the reasons for the change.
Exactly. Because especially with moving more towards item IDs for tracking instead of having completely unique stuff, it allows for better reporting, better tracking, better inventory processes. So.
Well, it'll also help position them for when they make the transition to barcoding, which is one of their goals.
Oh yeah, definitely. Barcoding,
if they have no variable information, barcoding will be very difficult.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in its current, with the current system that you have, and even with some of the things that are being requested now, barcoding might be very difficult. Yeah, it's definitely going to be tricky to transition, but we can do it.
Well, I'm confident that you guys will be able to assist them in that. I think if we can create a couple of product worksheets, that will help you start to create the table structures so that they feel they've got the flexibility to add all the variables that they encounter, and at the same time you guys will have a structure for the data within the table and the schema that you can start to use.
Oh, sounds good.
So, Haley and Vanessa.
Yes?
You guys are going to be there in the next 10 or 15 minutes, right?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to be there in about 10 or 15 minutes, and we'll start going through exactly what would help this process go forward in terms of like some type of worksheets. Because it's going to then allow them to start to create the tables that are necessary for you to enter the products and receive the products because they've been entered.
Okay.
Okay? So I'll see you in about 10 to 15 minutes.
Okay, Andre. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. So Zach, please thank Ben, and I will give you a call after I've left that Arctic, Zach, and we'll conference Ben if we can, just so that we can move forward what will be sort of their homework items into allowing you guys to start to create those table structures and field structures within them ASAP, so they can start to use this because they've got some timelines against the existing program that they have to meet.
Understood. Well, I guess that's it for today then. We'll wait for your call later today then, and we can go over it a little bit more at that time.
Thanks very much, Zach. I appreciate it.
Mm-hmm. Have a good one.
I know.
You too. So Haley and Vanessa, I'll see you guys in a few minutes.
Okay. Thank you. Bye.
You bet.